Gonna give it just a couple of minutes so that the notification can come out. I know this is very last minute, but when the Lord tells you, I want you to do a live broadcast, don't give me any crap about doing it last minute. So here we go. Hey, mama. I was just out running some errands, trudging, braving the grocery store after a snowstorm. It's, you know, empty shelves and all that fun stuff. But I'm like, I have to go to the grocery store. So I'm just doing my own thing, running errands. Um, yeah, that's what it is, Lisa. And I was listening to this song called Stones from Kim Walker Smith. Lila turned me on to this song, and it has just been wrecking me. But as I was just kind of listening to it and just, soaking on it again, I felt the Lord just really pushing me hard to really kind of articulate. I kind of dove into it a little bit on Lisa's broadcast this morning about what the Lord's been. Hey, Dawn. Hi, Debbie. Just what the Lord's been pressing on me about the month of January. At first, I just really felt like it was something that he was talking to me about. But as I was on Lisa's broadcast this morning, I felt like, oh no, this is something for all of us. So, it was with some intrepidation that I kind of dove into it a little bit on Lisa's Crown Chats broadcast this morning, which y'all need to hop on. It's every morning during the week. It's awesome. She's on a ton of platforms. Facebook has not been our friend though, so maybe check out some other platforms. YouTube's been fairly decent to her, so go subscribe to Touched by Prayer on YouTube. There's an awesome plug for an awesome voice right there. But anyway, so the Lord posed a question to me pretty much right around the new year, maybe give or take a couple days into the year. And it was more or less like a statement and then a question, right? And that statement basically was what you sow into this month of January is what will be a part of your harvest this year, or it will be your harvest this year. And I kind of sat back and I was just kind of like, okay. I'll get these little one-liners from the Lord sometimes and I don't quite know what to do with it. But as I just kind of, sat on that for, a couple hours, then I really just kind of felt like the Lord saying, what are you willing to sow? What are you going to sow in to this month that will help determine, the rest of this year? And I'm just going to say this disclosure right now. This is not a materialistic thing. This is not, I should be. Dawn, don't get me started on your poop, scoot, and boogie. I should be on D Lively's and on YouTube. So this isn't like doing works in order to press God into answering all my prayers and promises that are on my Christmas wish prayer list, right? This isn't about that at all. What this is about is our posture with the Lord in the quiet. Yeah, it should be Raw and Real Ministries. It should be. Who knows if it is? I probably screwed something up. So it's about our posture in the quiet with the Lord. It is, and really what it is, it's a way to walk fully in the purpose for which we are set for this set moment of time. it's really, it's also in a way, a fasted sacrificial type choice, to step into that fullness. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys have heard me say, our obedience to the Lord will take us places that our flesh does not want to go. And this is one of those things. And oh shoot. Okay, well, we'll figure that out later. This is only what my second broadcast that I've done in probably a year. So there's going to be glitches. We'll figure it out later. But yeah, so that's really what this is about. Um and so I my question for the Lord was, what do you want me to sow into? And this is going to be vastly different for every single person, right? Because we all are set at this moment of time. We all have different plans and purposes set over us. We all have different promises. We all have different dreams. And so, what the Lord kind of posed to the question this morning, because I still don't have this all written out, it was the question of what has been and what continues to be the biggest point of contention, the biggest battles that you have been fighting on in your life. Like, is it your health? Is it relationships? Is it dreams and your calling? Is it finances? Is it prodigals? Whatever that may be, whatever that biggest point of contention, whatever that valuable vault that the enemy keeps trying to raid is for you, that is where I think that he is leading us into sacrificially so. There's a price to be paid for the mantle and the calling that we are stepping into. I said it this morning. There's a cost to the glory. There's a cost to the calling. There's a price that needs to be paid. And the scripture I was thinking of this morning, I just kind of glazed over it because I couldn't remember the actual scripture and the fullness of the story because it had been a while since I read it. It was about David and the threshing floor. And so I went back to read that scripture and to read the fullness of that story. And it's a little out of context for this situation, but it kind of falls into the same line of things. And basically what it is, First Chronicles chapter 21. David had done something that wasn't exactly what the Lord asked him to do. And so then there was, consequences for that. Right. And then, this bad stuff happens. And, David's like, what, I asked you to put your hand against me and my family, not my people, and so then the angel of the Lord tells David, I'm going to pick it up in verse 18. And, again, this is going to mean something to everybody differently. Again, just a conversation starter for you to have with the Lord about what it is he's calling you into for this month. Okay. So verse 18, and it goes through 26 that I'm going to just kind of read through real quick. Says, then the angel of the Lord ordered Gad. This was David's seer, person. The angel of the Lord ordered Gad to tell David to go up and build an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusite. I think I said that wrong, but oh well. So David went up in obedience. He went up in obedience. Highlight that one, okay? To the word that Gad had spoken in the name of the Lord, okay? While Araunah was threshing wheat, he turned and saw the angel. His 4 sons who were with him hid themselves. Then David approached, and when Araunah, I think that's how you say it. I'm getting tied up here. Anyway, when Araunah looked and saw him, he left the threshing floor and bowed down before David with his face to the ground. David said to him, let me have the site of your threshing floor so I can build an altar to the Lord, that the plague on the people may be stopped. Sell it to me at full price. Araunah then said to David, take it. Let my lord the king do whatever pleases him. Look, I will give the oxen for the burnt offerings, the threshing sledges for the wood, and the wheat for the grain offering. I will give all of this. But King David replied to Araunah, no, I insist on paying the full price. I will not take for the Lord what is yours, or sacrifice a burnt offering that costs me nothing. So David paid Araunah the amount of gold shekels for the site. David built an altar to the Lord there and sacrificed burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. Now, if you want to go and study the different offerings, that's a really good thing for you to do. I'm not going to get into that. He called on the Lord, and the Lord answered him with fire from heaven on the altar of burnt offering. This is what we are moving into. Okay. We are moving into a place where we are seeing, we're hearing prophetic words come out about the glory of God being seen, about this move of God that's going to be on this earth. We are a part of that. But in order to partner with God in that, it's going to cost our flesh something. We have to step into a place of uncomfortability in order to do that. Like David said, I will not build an altar. Our lives are an altar. I will not build an altar unto the Lord that does not cost me, or that costs me nothing. I won't do it. If it doesn't cost me something, it's not worth it. It's just something that's flitting and shallow, and it's not the depths of God. It doesn't hold the glory. It can't hold the glory if it's not deep and it's not solid. And this song that that Kim sings, it's called Stones. If you guys want to go listen to it, it's amazing. And the verse of it says, I will not let the stones cry out. We as believers, we as the remnant who are here at this set moment of time, our desire is that we are the voice set on this earth. We cannot be silent, because if we're silent, then the rocks cry out, right? The stones cry out. And if the stones are crying out, that means we're not doing our job. It means we are not being heaven made manifest. And there's this powerful exchange that the Lord is inviting us into, for this moment, the beginning month of our, Gregorian calendar. I still believe, we're a couple of months into this new season, but there's something significant about the beginning of our calendar year, where we kind of partner with God and we're like, okay, what is laid out before us? What are you saying about this? And how can I partner with you in this? And I think it's a really great precursor of what he's saying here is, what are you willing to pay? And like I said, it's going to look different for everybody, and not one person's payment is greater than the other. Okay, this is not the place for comparison or religious judgment or any of that bull crap. Okay, this is an individual journey that then allows all of us to journey together into this new year. And so let's not measure and weigh other people's stuff. There's something that the Lord gave me a message way back. I shouldn't say way back, but it was back in 2019 when I had the privilege to go to Israel, and we were walking around the markets and such. Hi, Margaret. And there were stores. I mean, they were selling jewelry, and they didn't have price tags on them. Okay. And how they priced it out was by the weight of that piece of jewelry. So they would weigh, like, say, a necklace that was made of stones or beads or whatever, they would weigh it, and whatever that weight was determined the cost. And I shared like a brief message about that. It's like, you measure the weight of the call. Okay. Measure the weight of the mantle that the Lord is calling you into. And if you can carry the weight of it. But if you're going to carry the weight of it, I mean, we all are like, yes, I want to do this. I want to do the greater good. I want to do blah, 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 blah. But are you willing to carry the weight of that mantle? Are you really capable of carrying the weight of that? And that's the cost that you're determining at this set moment of time. Am I willing to pay the price? So for example, and I shared this morning, if that biggest point of contention has been over your finances, then the Lord may test you and ask you again. This is a request. This is not being a command. This is a request and an invitation to pull you deeper, right? To posture you more into heavenly places. And so the invitation is, what, like, if it's over our finances and we're needing to fight against the pillaging and the plundering, or whatever it is the Lord's talking to you about. But I'm going to use finances for an example. The Lord may invite you to sow finances in a sacrificial way, right? And I shared this morning, if you had, $2 left in your bank account, and the Lord's saying, I want you to sow that $2 into so and so, are you going to pay that price? Are you willing to pay that price? And so I encouraged the group this morning, to remember that God's accounting is never ours. It's his accounting, his mathematics, his, way of providing is not the way we understand it here on this earth. Okay. So that's just an example. And so, it might be something relationally. And is the Lord asking you to forgive somebody without an apology? Okay. That can be very sacrificial and painful. I have a story about that, but I won't go into it. But it's possible. But it's a sacrificial way of choosing to live, choosing to let that person go, giving them permission to walk through their journey without you harboring anger against them or holding a grudge against them, or however you want to, dance around the wording of that. There's a sacrificial release that happens to those that have wronged you. It doesn't matter if they apologize or not. Okay. So, I mean, you can kind of look at all these different things. And what the Lord has kind of shown me is that when we begin to have these conversations, Lord, what does me sowing in January with you look like? What is it that we're going to focus on? What do you want me to do? What are you asking me to pay for? Like, what are you asking me to sacrifice? What are you asking me to lay down on the altar? Is it all of me? Sometimes asking him to cut away more flesh is painful. It's sacrificial, right? It's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you some comfort. It's going to cost you, letting go of some of those religious chains. It's going to move you into a place of uncomfortability, and you've got to be okay with that. And so that's really just what I guess he wanted me to say it out loud on a live broadcast instead of trying to write it down and articulate it. But I really, I felt such a heavy weight over these conversations with the Lord of, Lord, what does this January look like for you and I as partners? What do you want me to learn? What revelation do I need to glean? What do I need to put into some fertile soil? And what fertile soil is that? And how do I, what does this seed look like? And what does this seed look like? And how do I plow? And how do I, dig? And how do I plant? And he will give you blueprints and instructions for that. He will. And because he wants it as badly as we want it. Like, he wants us to partner. And that's the thing that I think we sometimes forget, because he's such a big and amazing, awesome God, that we forget that he chooses and wants to and desires to partner with us, for us to partner with him. He gives us a lot more responsibility than we give him credit for sometimes. And I think because we're waiting for him to just show up sometimes, that we kind of forget that maybe we were supposed to be doing something in the process, which is something I've been corrected on many, many, many times. And so I just really felt like I needed to really get this out there and encourage you, and ask the Lord to really show you what that ground looks like, what those seeds look like, because I believe it's going to be an immediate harvest, but it's going through the process of plowing that ground and sowing those seeds that aren't cheap. They're not cheap, and they're not easy, So if you're looking for cheap and easy, then this isn't an invitation for you. You're just not there yet, and that's okay too. Okay? You need to understand your journey is your journey, and that's why we talk with the Lord about it. So, that's the invitation, that's that word that the Lord's given me, asking him to sow what he wants you to sow into January, and what that looks like for your calling, what that looks like for this year, for the purpose that he's called and set upon you for this year to come. And just function and live and rejoice in this season that we're in. There are amazing things coming. There are amazing things that are here now, right? So let's not get another disclosure. Let's not get so, focused like on later on that we forget that we've got to, you know, reside here in the present as well, because there's work for us to do right now that will then reap the harvest down the road, right? Because if we don't steward now, we won't get the future stuff either. So, all right. I think that is all I was going to share. I was going to just keep it a real short, lunchtime lingering kind of thing. And I had to be obedient to what the Lord was really pushing me to do. I'm sure he's going to be doing this a lot more though too. So be on the lookout, and I'll try to do it a little bit more planned, so I can kind of give you guys a heads up if I'm going to hop on. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll get the other technical issues figured out at some point. But thanks for popping on and sharing if you so feel led. And I love you all, praying for you. And I will talk with you later. Love you.